When was the last time you felt truly in flow where everything just clicked? And what were you doing? Do you create enough space in your day for your intuition to speak? Or are you constantly consuming, reacting, or rushing? If your higher self was guiding you right now, what would they tell you to release? What would they ask you to move towards? In today's episode, we will identify the times you are in alignment or not in alignment and how to get back to it using brain training. But before we get into this episode, let me ask you, have you become part of the newsletter? Every week, you will be receiving motivation, coaching tips, and obviously a reminder of the latest podcast episode, as well as other resources to keep moving your life towards alignment. I'm going to leave the link in the show notes for you so that you can join today. And speaking about joining, remember, Rewired to Align is ready and welcoming you today. This is the free private Facebook community that I created for you and other like minded souls. It's a great way to find your tribe, to meet others that are on the same path, and also to expand yourself, to expand ourselves, because I also joined the Facebook community, of course. And it's a great way for us to be with other people that are in the same path. And I am going to also leave that link for you in the show notes so that you can check it out. You just have to answer 3 questions and you're in. And every day there are prompts and there are questions and there are funny things, all about spirituality, all about neuroscience. So make sure that you're joining that Facebook community. Okay, now let's get started with the episode.
Hello, beautiful soul. What beliefs do you hold about yourself that might be limiting your potential? In what areas of your life do you feel you are not living authentically? What fears prevent you from expressing your true self? In what ways do you feel disconnected from your higher self, and what beliefs contribute to this disconnection? Welcome to Neuro Soul Sync, a podcast that blends neuroscience and spirituality, exploring the connection of our spiritual and emotional lives with the neuroscience of our bodies and brain. I'm Michelle Murray, your host, certified spiritual neurocoach, IVF twin mompreneur, lover of human design, and all things personal development. A few years ago, I felt exactly like that, yearning to live on purpose and authentically. I wanted to live fearlessly, prioritizing my needs and creating a life aligned to my core values and beliefs. And I was able to master this through neuroplasticity, spirituality, energetics, and the exact simple tools I will share with you here. I believe that when we are in alignment with who we are, life transforms from stuck and resistant to a journey of flow, impacting not only ourselves, but the collective consciousness. So if you're ready to get in the driver's seat of your life, live with authenticity, and discover simple yet powerful solutions that will guide you from feeling stuck to fulfill, this is your sacred space. Let's get ready to vibe high, align, and manifest.
Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to Neuro Soul Sync, where we blend science and spirit to help you live a more aligned, awakened, and empowered life. I'm Michelle Murray, your spiritual brain coach, and I always forget to introduce myself, so I'm doing that now. And today's episode is going to feel like a deep breath for your soul. We're diving into a topic that I love talking about, how to know when you are in alignment and also in spiritual alignment, and how your brain actually supports that connection to flow, to intuition, and to divine guidance. So let me ask you this. Have you been feeling off lately? Have you been second guessing yourself? Or maybe you just want to reconnect to your inner guidance system and you feel that this is the time. So this episode is for you, my friend. Grab a tea, grab a coffee, grab a glass of champagne, take a deep breath, and let's get into it. And let me tell you a story, because I love to start with the story. Back in 1995, I bought this beautiful book called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. In case you know her, she's amazing. And this little jewel of a book that the author wrote. The main thing that she wanted with this book was to help lot artists reconnect to their creative intuition. And let me tell you, at that moment, I was doing my bachelor's degree in science and I was going to med school to study neurosurgery. And there was something inside of me that was telling me, Michelle, neuroscience is great. You are amazing. Neurosurgery, I don't know. And I was looking for ways to listen to myself because I needed that direction. I was super confused. And deep down, I knew that med school was not really what I truly wanted. I was super, super confused. So I bought this beautiful book because I'm a super creative person. And I still have it today. I have two copies. I have the 1995 copy and the copy that I bought, I think in the 2000s when I did it again. Anyway, one of the exercises in that book was to write morning pages, which were 3 pages of freehanded writing, like a brain dump that you had to do every morning. As time progressed, the goal of the exercise was to connect with your intuition. So that's what I did. I started writing every morning. Sometimes, if I didn't write in the morning, I wrote at night, but most of the time, 90% of the time, I wrote in the morning. And let me be clear, writing is one thing. I was brain dumping in the morning. And throughout this practice, what I started noticing is that I began to be more clear. I began to hear my inner knowing by letting all my thoughts flow through me and into the page. I was able to rediscover my soul purpose and grow from there. And I started also making decisions that were more authentic to what I wanted. Needless to say, friend, I did not become a neurosurgeon, and today I'm a spiritual neurocoach. Why do I tell you this? Because I also want you to start getting in touch with that part of you that speaks to you and that knows your truth. And that part is inside of us. And you know this because you probably heard it. So let's start simple. What even is spiritual alignment? This is going to be very personal, but to me, spiritual alignment is that feeling of being in flow. You know, when things just click, you're not forcing anything, you're not constantly doubting or resisting, you're taking action, but it feels natural. It's not forceful, it's joyful. There's a sense of peace, even if things around you are chaotic. It's like I tell my clients, you have to be unshakable, and that's the feeling. You become unshakable and know when you are when you're feeling that peace, even if things are chaotic around you. And alignment is when your mind, your body, and your soul are speaking the same language. You're not just doing life, you're living on purpose. You're guided by something that is deeper. And some of you might call it intuition, some call it God, the universe, source, divine consciousness, higher self, whatever word resonates for you, that's perfect. And that is what I mean when I talk about alignment. But here's where the brain comes in. Let's talk about the brain because, yes, your intuition is backed by real brain activity. When you're in flow, your brain moves into what's called the alpha and theta brainwave states. And let me point you to episode 21 before you say anything, because that episode talks about the different brainwaves and how each of them helps us in reaching certain states in our daily lives. And I'm going to link it in the show notes so that you can click and you can go back and you can listen. Anyway, I was saying that when you're in flow, right, your brain moves into what's called the alpha and theta brainwave states. And these are slower, more relaxed brainwaves, the same ones you access during deep meditation or daydreaming. Okay, those are the alpha and theta brainwave states. In these states, the prefrontal cortex, which is the logical and overthinking part of your brain that I have told you that is just in the area of your forehead, this area chills out a little. It takes the back seat. That's when your subconscious mind and your intuitive downloads can rise to the surface. And this is why to rewire old beliefs, theta waves are used during hypnosis. And you can use it yourself if you are, in your DIY era, or if you work with somebody that does hypnosis, this is what they use in order for you to rewire certain limiting beliefs. So let me ask you, have you ever had a random idea that hit you in the shower or when you're walking in nature or walking the dog or sitting down enjoying the sunset? That's not random, friend. That's your brain shifting into a more intuitive state. Your inner guidance is always speaking to you. The brain just has to be quiet enough to listen. And it's funny because in human design, this is one of the main teachings. And they tell us that our inner guidance is always speaking to us from our body. And the mind has to be quiet enough to listen. So you see, there are other tools out there that can also get you into alignment. And human design is amazing. If you haven't checked out that episode about human design, I'm going to link it in the show notes for you. Now, before we move forward to the last part of this episode, where I am going to give you certain practices that you can use to realign. And also, we're going to go through when are we in alignment and when we are not in alignment. I wanted to remind you to join the private Facebook community Rewired to Align, because it's a group of beautiful souls just like you and me that are up-leveling their lives to a better version of themselves. And the cool thing about it is just that we're all doing the same. We understand each other. We can find support. We can expand our minds, and we all can share the journey together. And also every week, if you are not part of it, I want you to become part of my newsletter, because every week I send motivation, I send coaching tips, resources. Sometimes I do journal prompts. Like, it's full of goodies inside that beautiful newsletter. It's called Align Goddess, and it's going to help you live a life in alignment. So I am going to leave both links in the show notes for you to join. So make sure you check them out after you listen to this episode. Now, let's explore signs you're in or out of alignment. So, how do you know if you're in alignment? Let me give you a few signs, and I know that you know some of these. Number one, you feel clear, feel grounded, even when you're uncertain. So, things can happen around you, but you're grounded and clear. Number two, all of a sudden synchronicities start happening, like the right person shows up, or you hear exactly what you needed, or that opportunity come up through a friend. You make decisions more easily. That's number three. And it's great when we're in alignment and we can make decisions that move forward really easy. And number four, you feel more energized and creative. Okay, those are the signs that you are in alignment. Now, on the flip side, when you're out of alignment, you might notice one, constant overthinking. Oh my God, we love to do that. Number two, we struggle with decisions. Number three, you can feel drained or you can feel completely unmotivated. And number four, we force things that are not working. You know that we always want to get to the goal, but sometimes things are not working, but we're still there, like forcing things. Sounds familiar? It's okay. We go in and out of alignment, and this is a journey, friend. It's not a destination, it's a journey. We're going to be working with these as we enter new seasons in our life, right? What was in alignment for you in my 20s is not in alignment for me now that I am in my 50s. So it's a journey. The key here is to notice it and gently bring yourself back. Okay, so now that you know where you are, more or less, if you are in alignment or not, that you want to know how you realign, I'm going to give you a few practices that I use and that I keep using that are both spiritually and scientifically to get back into flow, and you can do whichever you feel most called to. Remember, this is not a one size fits all. However, you might want to give it a try. I'm going to give you four, and you might want to give a try to all of them to see which one works for you. Number one, and this is one that I have mentioned to you before, meditation or breath work. Even if you do it 5 minutes, okay? Even if you do 5 minutes of conscious breathing, this can shift your brain into an alpha state and open the channel to your intuition. And if you want to, we can try it now. Let's do it. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do that for a few minutes and you're going to feel the shift. And let me know how it goes because I love receiving your feedback. The second thing that you can do is that you can ask for guidance and then you can listen. And this is something that I do when I want a response or when I want to feel clarity about something. And you can ask your higher self or the universe, take a few minutes and sit down in a meditative state or sit down in your table, in your dining room table with a journal, or maybe when you're taking a shower or right before you go to bed, you can ask, what do I need to know today? And then you just quiet your mind because you know what happens? Sometimes answers are going to come immediately, and sometimes they're going to drop in later, maybe when you're walking the dog, right? Your downloads. You just have to stay open to receiving the answer. Number 3, and this is something that I tell also my clients to do, movement. Why? Because your body stores wisdom. And when you dance, when you walk, when you do yoga, all of this helps in resetting your nervous system and get your brain and soul talking again. And let me tell you, this summer, even though it's been so hot here in Miami and my pool is so hot, it's like a chicken soup, I swear to God, whenever I go in. But I have had many days lately that around 5:30 to 6, I put on the bathing suit, I jump in the water, which is warm, not as warm as like noon. It's a little fresh by the afternoon. And I love it. It completely resets my nervous system. And it's also a way to let myself go in silence, swimming underwater in peace and quiet. So I completely love movement for you. And the number 4, and this is a concept that you probably have heard or not, and something I will be talking to you in one of the upcoming episodes, neuro-aligned journaling. What is it? Is the practice of intentionally writing in a way that aligns your thoughts, your emotions, and nervous system with your desired energetic and mental state, especially your higher self, your intuition, or align identity. And when you write from the perspective of your higher self, what is recommended is that you use I am and I choose statements. You want to also step into your future self and avoid I hope or maybe. You want to write with certainty to reinforce neural wiring, right? And I'm going to give you 3 prompts here. Ask yourself, what would the aligned version of me do today? What am I being guided to release or to say yes to? Where am I out of alignment because I stopped trusting myself? And what would shift if I started listening again? When you do narrow aligned journaling, it works because what it does is it taps into neuroplasticity, which I have told you before is the brain ability to change itself. It also taps into the reticular activating system, which filters what you focus on, and journaling helps it find proof of alignment. And then, of course, the mirror neurons. Writing in an aligned state helps the brain mirror that identity. So this is a very powerful practice, and I will probably have to dedicate an episode to this practice so that you understand better. But for now, I highly recommend that you start doing it. Which of these 4 practices are you going to do? You can do all 4 this week if you want to. It is good to see which one works better for you, right? I love journaling. I love asking for guidance. Actually, I love all 4 practices and I do them all the time. And it depends on what I'm going through or what I want to know. There is no better way to create the life that is true to who you are than taking this pause and doing these practices. It truly brings us into our soul. Silence is such a wonderful friend. And all these 4 practices needs silence, When you're in silence, you can listen to yourself. Like Depeche Mode said, enjoy the silence. Anyway, beautiful soul, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a little bonus practice for you. And you can do it if it's available for you to close your eyes. If you are driving, don't do it, obviously. But if you're not driving, you can go ahead and let's do this. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, place your hand in your heart and the other hand on your belly, and say quietly to yourself, I am safe to trust my inner guidance. I am open to alignment. I choose flow over force. Take another deep breath and feel into that. Your body, your brain, and your spirit, they are all connected. And as I have said before, you're not broken. You're just remembering who you are. That's all I have for today, beautiful soul. I spoke about what is spiritual alignment, about the brain in flow and intuition. We went over signs when you're in and out of alignment. I gave you 4 magnificent spirituality and brain tools to realign, and this bonus practice that you can do anytime. It is my wish that this episode serves and blesses you. Thank you for sharing this space with me today. This is what I love to do. If this episode resonated with you, I would love for you to share it with your family, to share it with your friends. This is the way that you're going to help me grow. And this is the way the podcast is found, because the algorithm works that way. And if you can leave me a review, that will be a plus too. It is the super fastest way to support my work and also keep this podcast on air. And I mentioned to you last week, or I don't know, last week or 2 weeks ago, that I want to start having 1,000 downloads per episode. So when you share and when you review, that's how you are helping me. Okay, I'm leaving now. Remember, living in alignment is a journey. Your intuition is a gift. Your brain is your greatest asset. And you, my friend, you're magic. I'm sending you love.
I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I love creating it. If what you heard helped you, the number one way you can thank me is by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. My mission is that you feel empowered and more spiritually connected after listening, so your feedback means the world to me. Just scroll down to where it says write a review and leave me yours. And if you love what Neuro Soul Sync is about, please share with your family and friends. I believe the world becomes a better place when we come together collectively to make the change. I look forward to be with you next week.